in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the progressive news show with Let's Be S3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Anna Hart, along with Diaz. And as you can see from the title, we will look at the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. We're going to explain 3 subjects that is in the bill. So we're not going to explain the whole bill, but we will be explaining the most important parts of the bill that everybody is talking about and explain what exactly is going on with them. That is what we're going to be doing our first hour. In our second hour, we do have an Am I the A-Hole Mafia video of the week, and then straight into Fosse's videos of the week. Anna, how's everything going today?
It's going all right. I got woken up by a call from a friend, so hadn't heard from them in a while. Good day.
All right, Diaz?
I guess everything is more or less. It's hard to answer the question. You know, we're literally in the midst of extreme turmoil in one of our states, and it's like, it bothers me. Like, a lot of times we have natural disasters and they concern me, but they don't really bother me. But this time it concerns and bothers me just because of, I don't trust there's going to be sufficient help. So it's thrown me off a bit. It really has.
Yeah. We done finally come to an age of uncertainty. We're not certain about certain things. That's usually the status quo of disasters, natural disasters, things like that. We always knew the cavalry was going to come. And now we're at a time now where not only do we just don't know, but we don't even know if it will be enough if they do come.
Well,
So
it's part of the plan, which is so disgusting because it's like none of it is a surprise. Like none of it. We're in, whether you want to attribute it to, climate change or global warming or just the natural way that Earth shifts based in its orbit around the sun and all those good things. No matter how you flip it, whatever you want to attribute it to, we're in Earth's season of dramatic climate events, and they come every year. It's not like they come every couple years or every 20 years. They come every year. And the playbook that Captain Chaos is following is basically erode all the things that the government would normally do to help the population, so that the population, ironically, the population is forced to then not expect help and then beg for help. It's like it's part of the plan. And it's so disgusting because just like Project 2025, they wrote it down. It's written down.
Yep.
But because the masses are not intelligent, individuals are very intelligent. The masses are not intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
And it just here we go.
Hello, Tracy. Welcome to the show. Parker. Yeah, it's pretty shocking hearing the death toll from the Texas floods go from like 25 when I checked it yesterday. Then it was up to 67 when I heard early this morning. Mm-hmm. Then Parker comes back and says, wow, just checked it again, and now it's up to 79.
It's going to cross 100. And it's a shame. Like I'm troubled by that as well, because I'm looking at it like, oh, it's going to cross 100. Like, this isn't real in a way. Like, it's real, but it's not real. Oh, it's 50. Oh, now it's 70. Now it's 90. It's going to be 110. Each of those individuals that create that number was every bit the human being and personality that I am and that you are. Like, these are real people, real lives lost. And I don't know what could have been done to avoid. I mean, you couldn't avoid the flood. I think the flood is going to happen. But we had the resources to have greatly minimized the loss of human life. But they were diverted.
There was no warning. There was absolutely no warning for them. That's the main story that I keep hearing people say. Like, we didn't know this was coming. Well, of course you didn't. NOAA has been gutted. And many federal workers fired from there already. They are... so how are we supposed to react to emergencies when we have no idea what's coming?
Yeah, and they did it on purpose.
It's on purpose.
They literally, they intentionally went after the things that would warn you.
Yep.
And it's feeding right off of COVID. Because remember, in COVID, it was like, well, if you stop testing,
the numbers won't
wouldn't have all these cases, right? And so their whole philosophy is, if you don't measure it and you don't look at it, then it's not happening. It's the same thing in our community. We've been hearing for hundreds of years about racism. Well, if you just stop talking about it, it would go away. Really? Really? Nothing gets better by ignoring it. Nothing gets better by looking away. Everything requires effort and attention. And this administration decided, no, we rather have good press than bad outcome. So this is the game that we're playing. And yeah, a lot of his voters are being caught up in this, but a child doesn't get a vote. You know, even a rube who voted for this guy, they don't deserve this. You know, so it's just so senseless. And then he gets on there and blames Biden. Sir.
When will that will never not be a part of his playbook.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything is Biden's fault.
You fired people.
All he did was change the name. Be serious. All he really did was change the name from Obama to Biden. That's it. You just blame the last administration, and he did Obama
all the way through
damn
Biden.
near 3.5 years into his administration. It's like
he was still blaming Obama
bad
when
ever
Biden
his
was
fault.
president.
I'm like, bro, you've been here 3.5 years.
Yeah, I can't think of a single time he's ever said something was his fault.
No.
I've heard him say things are his responsibility before they go bad. But once something goes bad, I've never heard him be like, yeah, that was me. That was me.
That's in the Roy Cohn playbook right there.
Never apologize, always attack.
Yeah.
And what he would do is when he gets called out in public,
that's the most disgusting question I've ever been asked. Or
you're a nasty person.
Or he'll walk away.
Yep.
He'll just act like he didn't hear that. I didn't hear that question. I thought we was done, and he'll just walk away.
But his voters, they're immune. They are so sucked into the sunk cost philosophy that they can't pull out. They won't pull out, because if they try to pull out now, then they're the ones who were wrong.
They were wrong,
and they can't acknowledge that they were wrong.
I told you
so
they're in 3 categories: either the people who really truly believe, because I'm not going to believe that's not true. There are people who just really truly believe. There are people whose eyes are opening, but like you said, Thea, they're so deep into it now. I can't admit that I may be the cause of this, so I'm just gonna stay the status quo and just 47. Or the ones who pretty much have said, yeah, I've really made a mistake, but look at the company that I'm around now.
There's one more.
And it's safer for me just to keep my mouth shut and pretend like
that one.
It's easy for me to keep my mouth shut because, like I said, because look who I surrounded myself with. You got to remember when MAGA started, it blew up. A lot of groups started forming after that. You was in a certain group of MAGA. It was MAGA East, North, South, and West, MAGA Junior, MAGA 2.0. It was a whole bunch of different groups. You surrounded yourself with that group, and you know what this group is capable of. Okay?
Well, they always attack their own.
They have no problem whatsoever. And if you don't believe
it's just like any other religious cult.
Oh, by the way, hey Susan, I'm sorry I kept you on so long just to say hey Susan.
Hey Susan.
But it's to turn against MAGA is not to turn against Trump. To turn against MAGA is to turn against your family, your friends, your church, right? That's why I keep saying the whole conservative movement is so twisted, because over the last 40 years, almost 50 at this point, it's gelled to where your identity, your religion, and your patriotism, all of them have come together. So like you'll hear a conservative Christian say, well, I couldn't vote for a Democrat because there's no way I can vote for a godless Democrat. And then you'll have the ones who are on patriotism. Well, it's my Second Amendment right and the Constitution, and The Democrats are the ones always trying to break the Constitution. And I'm a patriot, right? They've taken ownership of the word patriot. They don't do what a patriot does, but they take ownership of the mantle. And then the last one is you're like, all the white people are Republicans. Like, it's like, you know, it's, you have to take a very hard stance if you're in a community that's not already predisposed for mixing or interacting, right? Like, I heard a former Republican basically say, you're a Republican until you learn how to learn. Because once you start learning how to learn, it's really hard to remain a conservative Republican. It's very hard to do it the more information you get. That's why when you get into the cities, you get squishy Republicans, right? Okay. You get the ones who are like, yeah, I'm with fiscal responsibility, but they don't rock with the rest of it because they can look around and say, I know someone who is Jewish. I know someone who is Black. I know someone who is Latino, right? It's like this stuff doesn't, but here we are, man. But I'm sorry, that was the big event for the day, and it's kind of thrown me for a bit of a loop. Sorry.
That's okay. Let's get this party started. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. Big numbers last night, so thank you. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do so now. We're just going to get into three of the what I think is the top three subjects of this this act is that was signed into law the 4th of July. So we'll start with the biggest one of them all, Medicare and Medicaid.
How damaging this bill will be to their quality of life.
Critics of the budget bill signed into law Friday cite a multitude of objections. Here are some of them and what the text of the law says.
A lot of people are going to lose Medicaid funding with this bill.
That's the federal health program for the poor. Democrats claim almost 12 million people will lose health care. The bill doesn't change the income eligibility requirements. Instead, it imposes new requirements that critics say some people have difficulty complying with. It requires able-bodied recipients to work, attend school, or volunteer 80 hours a month. But critics say it's hard to know where to draw the line on who is disabled enough to be exempt from the work requirement. The bill also requires states to check for eligibility every 6 months to prevent people from double enrolling in more than one state's Medicaid program and remove illegal immigrants or others who don't qualify. It also makes changes to the Affordable Care Act that reduce federal funds to states that choose to cover immigrants who may not qualify under federal rules.
Who's going first?
Let me go ahead and get my thought out real quick, because 9 out of 10 I'm probably wrong. So let me go ahead and get it out so I can have the two most intelligent people correct me on this subject. You remember how I always used to say that when certain things were certain laws, certain rules was given to this country, and Black people benefited from it. It wasn't exactly a law written for the Black community or the Latino community or the Asian community. We just happened to be a byproduct of it. Okay. Just reverse this as a negative. They was going after the illegal immigrants, in my opinion. And the byproduct of it is, well, let's make everybody else just jump through more hoops than they don't already have now. It's hard for me to put in words. And I tell you that because it's hard for me to understand evil. It's just hard for me to try to put into words that will make sense to the norm when all I see is just pure evil. I is you really, really go out of your way to hurt as many people as you possibly can for your millionaire and billionaire friends. And
That
somehow I'm supposed to make sense of this. And I can't. I don't have that ability to do it. That's why I try to use facts or educated opinion the best way I know how. But to try to sit here and say, well, I see the reason why they're doing this, and it's just to do, I can't see nothing but hatred, corrupt power. That's all I can see here.
that's part of it, yeah.
It's not going to affect you.
Oh,
It's not going to affect your family. I mean, let's face it. We're talking about millionaires and billionaires.
mhm.
When are they ever going to use this insurance? Their friends, when are their friends going to ever use this insurance? Their family, when are their family ever going to use this insurance?
I think you're close, but I think you're missing it, bro.
I am, because I'm so. Ooh, somebody else take it. I'm sorry. It's like I said, I knew I was gonna fumble this. Is so sick of this. And what's so, and the funny thing about it is, I'm sick of it, just not surprised of it. And maybe that's what's messing with my head. Maybe that's what's messing with my head so much is I'm sick of it, just not surprised of it. It's amazing why I even said at the beginning of the year, I don't want to hear anybody go, do you remember, did you hear what Trump said? That was so funny. It's like, no, it's not. I'm not surprised that he said it. I'm not surprised when he says stuff. I'm not surprised when Marjorie Taylor Greene says stuff. I'm not surprised when Tim Scott says stuff. I'm not surprised when Mitch McConnell say stuff. I'm not surprised when any of these people say stuff that's just flat out of pocket, lie, or straight up wrong. I'm not surprised anymore. Am I sick of it? Yes. Surprised? No. It's just, anyway, whichever one of y'all want to go first, and I'll just be talking in a circle.
By all means, Anna, go ahead.
You have to remember that Republicans have been calling Medicaid and Medicare entitlement programs forever. They have not wanted these programs. They have been looking for ways to shore them up, dry them out forever, to a point where they even got some of the most conservative Democrats starting to think, oh, yeah, maybe we should go after Social Security. These are not entitlement programs. Pay into them, you should get something back out. With Medicaid, I really hate when people stop at this is for the poor. This is for people who need help. Whether they are disabled, of low income, just had a baby, and want to make sure that baby has some coverage. There's many things that Medicaid covers. These cuts are going to drastically harm so many Americans, because we don't have the amount of waste, fraud, abuse, whatever that is, on these programs. I mean, we already talk about the fact that we have to prove that we are either disabled or that we are deserving of this small bit of help. But not only does it cover people, this subsidizes our nursing homes. Medicaid subsidizes our hospitals. When someone cannot pay for something, that is when Medicaid comes in and takes over. That happens far more than you know. So this is not going to just hurt people who are on Medicaid. And yes, the states that, at least the blue states, are going to try to work extremely hard to make sure that their citizens are still covered. I'm not sure what a lot of red states can do at this point. But this is on purpose. Life would be a whole lot easier for a lot of lawmakers if the destitute and the disabled weren't around. This is eugenics. This is taking away, I mean, I'm going to stretch it out a little bit to like food stamps. We're taking away food stamps. And, oh, hello. Sorry. That's all right, Mom. Mama Heart says hi.
Hello.
I mean, it's becoming almost too easy to point back to the late 20s and 30s in Germany and say, okay, so look at how the Nazi party shored up their power, started to get rid of their undesirables, and made concentration camps. I mean, it's the point is, this is the largest wealth transfer, and the poorest people are paying for it. The richest people in the world country, they get back tens of thousands of dollars. The poorest people have to give money for this bill. $1,600. Where am I going to get that? Every last dime that I get goes to covering medications and monthly expenses. The fact that they are just trying to make it unlivable here for many people, that's part of their plan. I don't know. Nearly $1 trillion out of Medicaid. It does absolutely gut all kinds of programs. I really wish people knew how their healthcare, those who are on private health insurance, how they are going to be impacted by this. They are. When people can't get to a clinic, they go to a hospital. So now, for maybe a cold, a flu, you are in the way of somebody who may actually have an emergency. But that's the way it's going to be. That's the only place we can go to get help. I don't know. The suffering is the point. The loss of life is the point. And the demoralization is the point. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I love all the points that you just raised, Anna, especially where you touched on eugenics. It's a very overlooked aspect of all of this. It first reared its head to me when RFK Jr. was going through his questioning,
Yes.
and he basically raised eugenics. And he was called out on it, but it was a blip and it moved on.
Mhm.
But this is the mentality behind these things. So one part I'm gonna hit real quick on the video that you shared, Marlon, which I think a lot of people miss. And so with this Medicaid portion, and I understand why people are focused so much on Medicaid, but realistically, people haven't shown enough concern for people who are poor and sick among us. So this is really kind of like virtue signaling for most people. I'll just be real, because you really didn't care that much before, right? But now it's in your face somewhat. See, the Republican Party, we're dealing with an ideology, okay? And like Marlon, you were saying, it's evil, and I understand why people would use that term. I try to shy away from it because I think that good and evil is always in the eye of the beholder. To them, they're not being evil, they're being just. To them, they're not trying to harm the many, they're trying to serve the few. To them, this is exercising or being the handmaidens, if you will, of God's will. You know, because in America, the American mythos or ethos has taken wealth and made it synonymous with blessing, right? And so the
And
more wealth you
intelligence.
have, the more blessed you are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have any wealth, you are, by that same definition, not blessed. You are not favored.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not interested in you because in their view, God has forsaken you anyway. There's something about your walk. There's something about your life that didn't line up with what God would have for you. Otherwise, you would have more. Right? That's some of their way of coming at it. And that's why I was saying before, when I saw over the last 50 years how things have just melded together. And it's longer than that. It goes all the way back. But it's when it's Ronald Reagan really ushered in this blend, you know, trickle down economics. That if you are paying attention to it, trickle down economics will trigger in your mind, my cup runneth over.
Yep.
It's the same premise. God will rain down blessings on the fortunate. And then as that overflows, that which trickles down will then be there to help the less fortunate. In fact, I have heard Christians say, well, the poor will always be amongst us, because it's in the Bible. The poor will always be amongst us. And I'm like, yes, but the spirit of what your Jesus was teaching was that we should be in communion and service of those poor, not, oh man, they're just always going to be around. You know, that's not, you know, but from this particular sect, their mindset is really warping things to serve what they want. They're not truly serving the Christ they claim. They're not truly serving the religion they claim. They are serving their personal desires and utilizing the faith to justify their actions. You know, that's why we have the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who speaks the way that he does. It's a very clear reason why he intones his faith the way he does, because it creates a mask, it creates a force field, if you will. So what does that have to do with eugenics? Well, what that has to do with eugenics is, if you believe that you have to create God's perfect people, and you have to create a city or a people without spot or blemish, then if you define the infirm as being a blemish, then they need to be removed. If you define the poor and the criminality that comes out of poverty as being a blemish, then you have to deal with that, right? The difference between people who think like many of us and people who think like them is, we want less poor people. They want less poor people. Okay?
Right.
We want less people to be poor. They want less poor people, period.
Yes.
Okay? It's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay? But you can have both of us say the same words. We want less poverty. They want less poverty. So what they're going to do is starve out the poor, starve them out. Right? And then you go into the next level of the ideology of America, the consumerism aspect of it. Right? And this is a little tinfoilish, so hear me out. But for those who say that your social security number is like your barcode, you ever heard that?
Yep.
All right. So we are in a capitalist society. Well, yes, Jesus was poor, but Jesus also said his father owns all the cattle and all there's 1,000 hills. So he wasn't really poor, but he came through, right? So it all depends on what you want to take from the story. And I'm sorry to get off of what I was about to say, but it's super important. It makes me think of the Vladimir Putin excerpt I heard at some point. Vladimir Putin grew up extremely poor, and his family was terrorized because of their ethnicity or something like that, right? So everybody doesn't learn the same lesson from adversity, okay?
Right. Yeah.
So some people learn, I never want anyone else to deal with the pain that I've dealt with, and I will now be a champion for the aggrieved to make sure that no one else has to experience this.
Yeah.
But some people go through it and say, I will never be this vulnerable again. I will never be the victim. I must be the victor.
Right.
That's what Putin took from it. That's what the European Jews who run Israel took from the Holocaust.
Yep.
That's what the Protestants who were pushed out and sent to America to form these prison colonies that eventually became the 13 starting states. They learned, I never want to be the victim again. And that mentality has continued. So that's what we're dealing with. It's not a good versus evil thing. I understand if people do take it that way because there's a religious standpoint to it.
Right.
But if we go on a secular level, this is somebody has to lose, and I'll be darned if it's going to be me. And they will lay waste to any and everything around them to protect their perceived interests. So that's how this stuff is happening, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion. But this is how, when I look at these things, because I try to study who I'm up against, and I'm like, these are the motivations. This is why when you call them racist, it doesn't work. Because their motivation isn't race. Right? They're going after the Latinos because they're racist. No, they're not going after them because they're racist. Racism is in it, but that's not their motivation. Right? They're going to come after us.
What do they call that? A happy accident? That it's part of it? Like, that's just a happy accident.
It's a rallying cry. It's a recruiting option.
Yeah.
Right? Racism, classism, and like the religious thing. Someone can stand in 2 or 3 or 1 of those things, but be able to stand in communion with each other, because what they're ultimately after is for their group to be on top. So if racism is what brings you to MAGA, okay, you got a space. If Christian supremacy is your vision of it, you got a space, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is why you hear people say things like everybody who follows MAGA is not a racist, but everybody who follows MAGA is okay with racism, right?
Yeah.
You can't call everybody racist because that's not what motivates all of them,
Right.
you know? But they're not going to turn away from it because of racism. But I just hit on all kinds of things. I went in all different directions. I apologize, y'all. But hopefully you got what I was trying to say.
I did. And I found it quite succinct, actually. So.
All right, everybody, let's move on to the second story. This bill's effect, that's bill, not this bill anymore, this law.
This law.
And its effect on the SNAP program.
He's taken away so much from people. He's taken away food.
That's a reference to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly called food stamps. As with Medicaid, the law doesn't change eligibility, but includes work requirements for able-bodied recipients and extends those work requirements from the current cutoff age of 54 to 64. It exempts pregnant women and parents with children younger than 14. It also limits eligibility to citizens and legal immigrants in most cases, and it shifts some of the costs to the states.
Yeah, so I wish more people had picked up this particular lesson, and I think a lot of people did start to see, but it wasn't real for them just yet. With USAID, when they went after that, when Doge went in there and gutted it, it's now effectively a deceased end agency at this stage.
Yeah.
You heard the cries start to come up and point out this hurts American farmers.
Yep.
Because most of the stuff that they sell it to the government and they sell it overseas. So when you messed with USAID, you messed up both of their channels.
Yep.
SNAP is more of that because the main buyer is the government. The government's moving this money around, right? The government is paying these stores to feed people. So now, and you always heard it. People always talk like the welfare queen that Reagan and his ilk manifested for people. Some people are so hard-hearted that all they can think of is somebody is getting something without having to work for it. This is why I never rock with the morality of work. I don't believe in it. I don't believe that, like when we touched on it, I think yesterday when we were talking about an allowance, when I was like, yo, I don't do allowances, right? There's no moral code to going to work, okay? You can get a work ethic from going to work, but that doesn't make you a better person, all right? So I'm like, these people are they're not being made to look right at things, all right? So they're able to only stand on what they feel and not have to face what they should know, right? Spend a little time at a food kitchen. Spend a little time at a group home, at a battered spouse shelter, at a church who feeds the homeless or feeds the local community. Spend a little time. Get to know your family members that you pretend don't exist, that live out in the country or don't make a lot of money in the city. Get to know them and see what they actually spend their SNAP benefits on. Get away from what you've heard in social media and random chattering that just kind of fills your ear from time to time, talking about the welfare lady who got all the steaks and the pork chops, right? Or the people who are selling their food stamps. Yes, those things happen. But like I remember my homeboy, this is years ago, and I say this and drop it. Many years ago, I was like in my early 20s. And there was somebody that it just really upset me that whenever I would go to their house, they had food all over the place. They had boxes of cereal for days, right? But then here I am, I gotta order a pizza. and so that I can eat for 3 days.
Mm.
Right? That was how I could survive. I had to order a pizza so that I could eat off of that thing for 3 days. But you got food everywhere. You got government assisted housing. You got all this stuff going on. And all I could see was my struggle. And then through my struggle, being upset with you because it looked like you were having an easier time. And my homeboy said to me, if you want to stop where you are, you can have everything that that person has. They will never have more than what they have right now.
Yes.
Whereas you're trying to get more. So do you want to change places with them? And that stuck with me. I was like, yo, for real, that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you really jealous of? What are you really upset about? Are you really upset that somebody is getting something that you don't even need? Are you seriously that broken inside? Right? It's ludicrous. And then if you really stop and look at it, a person, let's say a person is straight up scamming the system for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They scamming it for housing, they're scamming it for food, for groceries, they're scamming it for medical care. Let's say they doing all of those things. They got Social Security benefits coming in because they got a fake disability. Let's say they're doing all of those things. At best, that person is robbing the country of about $50,000 a year. That's about the equivalent. If you were able to hit all the notes, you are getting the equivalent of a $50,000 a year lifestyle. Okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene had like $150,000 PPP loan on top of the salary that we pay her, on top of all the other things.
Healthcare.
And it got forgiven. But you upset about one person who probably is feeding 3 kids and them running the system for $50,000. That doesn't make it okay. I'm just saying your priorities are screwed up.
Yep.
And then I rest my case, Your Honor.
Let me just say this real quick, and I'll let Anna have the last word. It's the irony to me. You feel like it's too much corruption. I know this is not the only reason. I'm just going by one of the reasons I heard.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much corruption in the SNAP program, and we need to put a stop to it. It says this administration. Are you serious? This corrupt administration is going to tell you that the SNAP program is too corrupt. So we need to, I don't know, put an end to it or shore it up or whatever. Meanwhile, you have, sorry to keep saying this, but it's the truth. You have somebody who was convicted of a felon.
34
as president of the United States, a 2-time impeached president.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is that unprecedented, but let me just add another thing to it. Back to back. Like, we're going to impeach you. 3 months later, we're going to impeach you again. But this group, it's the irony of it. It's the irony of you're purposely going out of your way to listen to the message and not listen to the messenger. It's just so dumbfounding to me. You know, it doesn't affect you until it does really affect you. Like what Theus was saying. I mean, I don't want nobody to take advantage of the program because I really do feel like people who do take advantage of the program is taken away from people who really need the program. But and it's wrong. I will agree with you on that. I would like for that to stop. But I would like that to stop for that individual, not the whole program.
I would like people to be able to get food, no matter.
Silly me, I would like people to eat every night. Silly me that one of the real issues that poor people were having during the pandemic was school was the only time they could, at the very least, their kids could have 2 of the 3 meals.
And they're getting rid of school lunch funding.
Yep.
Cutting SNAP benefits and school lunch funding.
And let's complete this picture. We are kicking out a lot of the migrant workers who pick our food. We have cherries and apples sitting on our trees rotting because migrants are too afraid to get on the buses to come up here, even from California. Because ICE is at rest stops. ICE is at where they're gonna be working. So we have 70% of the workforce that would make sure that we had food. This coming year, we are going to be experiencing a level of food insecurity that it's not just people who need the SNAP benefits. It's going to affect everyone. Food prices are going to skyrocket even more than they are now. When things are rare, like I cannot impress upon everybody enough to start a garden. Get some vegetables going. Because this will soon be an issue of life or death. Will you be able to get the nutrients that you need? We cannot count on it anymore. And if you took one look at all the farms out there, you would see it is crazy bad.
But here's the thing, right?
Hmm?
Okay, first of all, hey everybody, new nickname for me is Chicken Little, all right? Because for the last 5 years, for as long as any of you have known me, I have been talking about mutual benefit programs. I have been talking about let's put together $10 a month, $20 a month, and let's help feed people and help people and show people we care about them and build community. I've been saying that for 5 years that y'all know of.
Yep.
So here's Chicken Little who's saying, yeah, but they ain't gonna do it though, Anna. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the thing. By the time it gets so bad that people have to come together, we'll all be scrounging scraps.
Yep.
We could have been building storehouses all of this time.
We could have
had organizations that could actually function before this time.
Yep.
This was not unforeseen. The timing is faster than many of us feared.
Yes.
But none of this is a surprise.
No.
None of it, because the Republicans have been on this mission for 50 years. So it's like, I hate to be like this because this ain't how Disney told Chicken Little. This version of Chicken Little's like, yeah, they ain't gonna get there, right? Because that's the human nature of it all. We are going to go through some really, really hard stuff if things continue on their current trajectory. And if they do, the best part of it will be us being in food scarcity, right? That'd be the best outcome because there's some really ugly stuff that's going to come along because this is what's going to happen, folks. This is just human nature. Look at history.
Mm-hmm.
As things start to fall apart, people are going to be looking for answers. And even though the government is the entity that broke all of these things, it doesn't matter. It's still the biggest boy on the block. So people are going to turn more to the government to help figure out what to do next. And the government will use that to have even more authority and control. And then because it's inept, it's incapable of rising to the occasion, it will then create more enemies. Okay. And then the population, not just because we're slow and lazy, but really because desperation makes you do desperate things. So you will then latch on to who they tell you is the enemy. And those who don't latch on to who they say is the enemy will become the enemy to those who did latch on to what they said. This is human nature, right? And I know we all have a tendency, I do it a lot, where we point back to 1930s Germany, but you ain't got to go that far. You can just look right here in America and watch what America has done on its own shores, generation after generation after generation.
And Nazis got their ideas from us.
Right. They
From
got a lot of
white
the worst
Americans.
ideas from America. They were just bold enough to do some of it.
Yeah.
And we have people who are now in positions of authority who, like I said, everybody doesn't learn the same lesson. They learn those lessons and we're like, we can do it better. And so we're in that cycle. And if you look at it on a cosmic scale or a deity level, we're in these loops because we, as God's creation, have failed to learn what we're supposed to learn. So we keep going through it over and over again until one generation finally cracks the code and realizes that the answer is not to pull further apart, but to pull closer together and rebuild and restructure what is not working. This America is not that America. Okay. It ain't gonna happen on this round. I'm sorry, I don't see it. There will be pockets of great things.
Yeah,
there always are. Right, but the energy that we are seeing amongst ourselves, I'm sorry, folks. So yes, learn how to grow a garden, and if you don't know how to grow a garden, learn how to support the people who do, so that you can get in on the harvest. They got community gardens all over the place.
Trust me. 50 million videos on YouTube on how to grow a garden of all varieties. I mean, they even got a dude in Texas who sit here and says, I'm going to teach you how to build. No, not Texas. He's on the eastern shore of California, of the Carolinas.
Talking about hydroponics and all that?
No, well, he's on the eastern shore of the Carolinas, where it's more sandy than any other soil. And he could teach you how to grow oranges and apples and all the tropical fruits and everything else.
Yeah.
There are videos that will teach you how to grow whatever.
Yep.
I mean, this dude goes into great details on how to make up your first fertilizer.
But see, what I'm getting at, Marlon, part of what I'm getting at is, yes, that's true. YouTube University is one of the greatest gifts we ever had. It's brought so much destruction, but it's also brought so much beneficial things, right? Yes, you can learn most anything you want. You can learn how to repair your home. You can learn how to do all kinds of stuff if you're motivated to do so. And I think people are going to become much more motivated. But
it also promotes individualism.
Yes, it's almost like what I was saying before the election came through. And this isn't an I told you so moment. This is just what I was saying back then. Because people were saying we've lived through worse. We've made it through worse. And I'm saying, well, why would you want to go back to that? Like, that's not I mean, It doesn't have to be an option. We made it through segregation. Yes, we did. That wasn't to say let's do it again.
Right.
It reminded me of that meme that I saw the other day. I guess somebody did something like terribly wrong, and somebody was chastising them on what they did wrong, and the guy was like, "Well, only God can judge me." And the guy looked back at him and go,
Everybody
"And that should scare you." Like, is that
what would his judgment be, my friend? What would it be?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, he knows my heart. Yeah.
Yeah, intent isn't always enough.
Well, but no, it's so many things going on, and I don't want to sound too down on people because I understand the human situation. I'm part of it, right? But it's like for most people who don't operate on the level that we operate, who don't think in the ways that we think, this is all so big that they can't even imagine how to impact it. They can't even imagine what to do with it. So naturally, they hide from it. That is what 90+% of the human race does. It looks for a leader. It looks for somebody else to help them feel like it'll be okay or that they'll fix it. That's what most people are followers. That is the reality of what we are as human beings. You know, so expecting this mass uprising, it will come. But what it'll take for it to come will be some really dire circumstances. And we're not there yet because right now people are sheltered from personal impact. Like, okay, going back to what we started this about with the debt and deficit, the death and deficit bill, right? The Medicare cuts are designed in such a way that when they start to kick in, you won't even recognize what's happening. You recognize it right now because someone has done the work to dig through it and say, here's how you pull all the pieces together. And this is the amount of cuts that are coming to you, right? 86 billion, I think, is coming to the program, right? That took a lot of creative math, folks, because the way Republicans drew this thing up, you can't just point at it and say that. They didn't have like take 8 billion here. No, they said we're going to increase the load for a person to qualify to even get the benefits because they know, because other states have gone this and tried this even with mixed results, but they've tried this work requirement and they've tried this additional paperwork status in many, many states. And they know the result is people fall off the rolls. And that's what they're after.
Yeah.
We didn't cut anybody. They just stopped applying. You got to recertify every 6 months. Who's going to be able to do that? Have you ever tried to fill out government forms, much less do it every 6 months and be like poor? And a lot, and this is not an equivalent, but let's just be real. Poor people are disproportionately undereducated. So you really think they're going to wander through these forms? And then the nonprofits that used to be there to help them, they don't get funding anymore. So they won't be around.
I have problems with a lot of the paperwork because they word it in such a way that I can take it 2, maybe sometimes 3 ways, and I'm not sure exactly what they are looking for.
Yep.
That's on purpose.
And they do that with disability. I've seen that firsthand.
Yep.
The policy is to deny you until you just don't give up. And those who don't give up, eventually they'll go ahead and approve you. But they're going to deny you for like a solid year.
Yep.
And make you pay all kinds of fees and do refilings. And then that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen with.
Because if you really need it, you will go through all of those hoops. That's in their brain.
Yeah.
It-
Means
it-
testing. That's
yeah.
exactly what we're talking about, Tracy.
Yeah.
It's just that means testing has a dirty term to it. You know, a lot of people still love means testing. Like for SNAP benefits,
Yeah.
they're all great with means testing. But for Medicaid, they don't want to say means testing. They want to say recertify.
Right.
Exact same thing.
All right, all right, everybody. Last video for the first hour: tips and overtime.
The tax cuts that they have made for folks who make an awful lot of money, those tax cuts are permanent. Those are the ones that should be temporary. Let those folks who work in a service industry that most of us would not want to, let them benefit from the tax cuts because they need them.
That's a reference to the much talked about provision reducing taxes on tips. And indeed, those are set to expire in 2028. That's also the case with two other changes. Let's look at all three. No tax on tips. Taxpayers can deduct up to $25,000 in tips on their tax returns. This starts phasing out on incomes greater than $150,000 for individuals and $300,000 for couples. There are provisions designed to prevent regular income from being reclassified as tips. No tax on overtime. Taxpayers will be able to deduct overtime income up to a $12,500 limit, $25,000 for couples. This also phases out for wealthier taxpayers. Trump accounts. This will be a savings program for all babies born in the United States during Trump's second term. The government will make a one-time $1,000 contribution, and families can contribute up to $5,000 a year. The money can't be used until the child turns 18.
All right. So, real quick, that last one was actually a Democratic idea. That was baby bonds. All right. So, and I'm not against it. I'm not against baby bonds. I'm good with that. But you see how they took it and they mixed it with I can't remember what the card. I think it's a $5.99 or $1.99, something like that. But there's a plan that you can do where you can set up an investment account for your children, completely tax deferred. And there's one version where it can be for educational use. So when they turn 18, you can use it to pay for college and things like that. And then another version, it just runs and it's just fine. And it's still tax deferred. Wealthy people have been using it forever to help shelter a little bit more of their income. Middle-class families can use it, but sometimes it's a little wonky, so we don't see a lot of people dealing with it except for the upper middle class. So that last piece, that was actually a good thing. Middle piece, when they were talking about the overtime, all right? If you work overtime, if that's a significant part of your job, $25,000 happens real fast, all right? But it's still good. That's still good that $25,000 of your overtime pay you can write off against your taxes so that you're not taxing all of that. That's wonderful because right now overtime hits you for like 30-40%, and it's painful when you see your check when you know how much you worked for it. But it sunsets. Everything that is in this bill to help middle class people sunsets. It all ends right before all the bad stuff happens. You get the good stuff till 2028, and then the bad stuff in 2029. That's this bill.
Yep. And see what happens 2028. It's an election that year.
Something's happening.
Yeah. And if we believe history, it usually tips over into the other party when people. Oh.
Now, Parker, but here's the thing, though. All right, that $1,000. I want for you guys at home, take your time and check this out. Rule of 72. Okay, so Rule of 72 basically says that at a 12% return on your investment, which is usually going to be like an index fund or many mutual funds, depends on what you get into. But let's just say you go with a 12% return. That $1,000 would double every 6 years. Okay, so that means the baby's born, 1,000. Baby turns 6, right? Just for the ease of discussion. Baby turns 6, that's now worth $2,000. Turns 12, it's now $4,000. Turns 18, that's now $8,000. Off of a $1,000 that was put in because the baby was born by the government. So that's $8,000 that went in there that you now have for the benefit of your young person. And most people do not have that saved up when their children turn 18. So that's why baby bonds are actually a good thing. But the trick is what's coming with that. All right. Now, if you have the financial discipline, financial wherewithal to do it, you'll add more money to it because you want to take advantage of that time value of money, right? So that money would double bigger and faster because you're pushing more money into it. That's where you hear the thing called dollar cost averaging, right? They say no matter, just pick a dollar amount and keep putting it in there. Keep putting it in there. It doesn't matter what's happening in the market. Just keep putting it in there, right? Because you're catching it as it moves. Okay, I'm not going to get into the weeds on that, but that's a good thing, okay? The problem, though, is the things they're taking from everyone offsets much of what you're getting, right? If we're taking away Medicaid, and taking the leash off of private health insurance companies, your cost of insurance is going up by about $2,400 a year. That $1,000 don't feel so good now, does it? So this is the game within the game.
Trump knows people will forget that he signs it.
Trump don't care.
Yeah, Trump is, regardless of what happened in 2028. I mean, as regardless as I can say, Trump is not there anymore. Trump Trump is not in office anymore in 2028. And yes, he'll push that. He'll push it one or two ways, either him or the Republicans. Either he knows that his people is going to forget that he was the one that signs it, or he'll go, why are the Democrats doing anything about it if it's so bad? And a lot of people will say that too. This is really bad out here. Why are the Democrats not doing anything about it? Why? History. They've done it before. If the plan works, why change it?
We know people also aren't going to keep track.
No, of course not.
It's impossible.
It's 4 years from
when
now.
Things start going bad, we blame who's in office now.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to go into one or two ways. You're going to forget who started, or you're going to blame the person who's in office for not taking care of it right here, right now. If it's terrible, why are you not doing something about it? You see that we're suffering. Why are you not doing anything about it? Well, you're not a person in office. Why are you not doing something about it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Let's say the Democrats take the House in 2026. Things start going sideways in 2027, 2028, 2029. Democrats will be blamed for not stopping whatever is happening at that moment in time. No one's going to look backwards and say this is what happened during the time that the Republicans held all three levels of power, because that's not how people function. You can watch people doing now. People who blame Biden for things that really are Trump's fault. They blame Trump for things that was really Biden's fault. It's just how it works. People are stuck in the right now. And because they're too busy, frankly, too busy managing our own bubbles of chaos to keep track of what happened 4 years ago in September, right? That's not how we are, right? So we're going to be like, this is broke, fix it. Oh, Democrats in office, your fault.
Any last words, Anna?
Oh, we knew what was coming so much that they've been writing it out in a playbook available for public reading for over 40 years. Democrats have had plenty of time to come up with a game plan of their own. They have not. is I on the one hand want to like go. Didn't you do a good job when like Hakeem Jeffries finally stands up on the floor and does something?
Yeah, he talked for what, 8 hours?
8 hours, and that's something. It's also very late in the game, and did it do much of anything? No. It gave the Republicans more time to just go, okay, we got it, let's get the votes, let's get the vote down. And so like I do want to say, okay, good job. You did something, because in the past you've done nothing. You kind of just wait for the midterms. I still don't see enough. But I do see a lot of work happening in a lot of towns across America. So that's where I keep my hope. I don't think, politicians get us into this mess, but it's going to take us, the people, to get us out. However that happens.
Do you think, or what are your thoughts? Like you were saying, like the politicians get us in, but what is our culpability? We put the politicians in there.
Okay, so we operate within a system that brings us two choices. Ultimately, you got to choose one or the other, because one or the other is going to make it in there. Not enough people know about our two-party system. We don't, like, we would need more kind of like ranked choice voting, more stuff that I could be sure this was absolutely like the people's will to have these to have this specific representation. Because we are, of course, some of the blame. But in my opinion, a smaller amount relative to the amount of power that you hold. And unfortunately, a lot of people, like you said, when we're in our own bubble of, well, I got to get my 3 kids going, and I got to, I'm up all day doing my job, getting my partner what they need, and our kids what they need. And by the time the sun is going down, I am exhausted, and I do not have the time or the patience for politics. I think people are starting to see, however, more that politics is not some big bad word that they thought it was in the past. This is our lives. These are the laws by which we live our lives. And, if we had better ways of being able to recall representatives, I'd say then, yeah, our blame would go up.
No, I understand. I was just curious because it's like the ways on shorthand to fix a lot of this, you would get rid of the electoral college, or you would reform it, right? Bring it in line with the popular vote. have some kind of weighting system, right? So that way the small states are protected by the Electoral College and the majority is protected by the popular vote, and have that weighted somehow. But you have to have representatives to make that happen. And how do you get them in there when dark money and open money and free money and, you know, is always flowing? But at the end of and then
Everybody
you got
agrees.
gerrymandering. You got to get rid of gerrymandering. You know, there's a lot of things out there that say how we can do that. Ranked choice voting is one I think people use. Another one might be, you know, proportional mapping. So they just draw the lines, and it's like where the line is where the line's line, right?
Yep.
But once again, you have to have representatives to do that, and that has to be done at the state level. Doesn't even happen at the federal level. So there's a lot of civic engagement that has to be done, but we're all very busy because, like you said, we're all just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to trust somebody, but we're openly trusting the wrong people. Like, it's not like some of this is a mystery. Like, Ted Cruz has defended his seat twice.
And,
you know,
okay, so
that's a lot of Texans.
If that part of Texas will not accept a Democrat, why have they not put forth a better Republican?
Well, they don't have to give him a better Republican because they got Ted Cruz.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, if the people wanted a better alternative to Ted Cruz, then whatever ran against Ted Cruz, they would vote for it. If nothing else, to send a message that we don't want Ted Cruz. But
no, and not a lot of people take part in primaries too.
Yeah,
that
so we're
is
in
very
a
low
very
ballot.
deep tribalistic era in America. Red team, blue team, period. And I'm sorry, Marlon has been trying to get us to move on.
I haven't opened my mouth.
You haven't opened your mouth. You're correct, sir.
Oh, I was listening. I was also going to say that the American people are very lazy, and Ted Cruz is a very popular vote. So either you go Republican or Democrat, you're going to vote for the most popular Democrat, or you're going to vote for the most popular Republican. And unfortunately, as much as you may dislike Ted Cruz, the rest of the United States, Texans know who Ted Cruz is, and they're going to vote for Ted Cruz because they know who he is, and he's a Republican, and we're done with my choice.
Yeah, that's it.
That's where Cuomo, that name has so much pull that I really hope the Mamdani campaign can hold up this energy all the way through the general, because now my understanding is Cuomo is going in as an independent.
You know, I keep hearing that the Cuomo name has pull, but I think the Cuomo name has pull because Cuomo says the Cuomo name has pull, because there's not a big fan club among the voters.
Many people remember their father very fondly, including myself. He was a good mayor. I mean, I was young at the time, but
I just think Mamdani has a better chance than we think.
I really hope. I
hope so.
Yeah.
I just don't think that he's representative of anything that's national just yet. And the proof of that is how fast the Democratic Party's turned against him.
There are some people who are coming up and they're getting at least my attention, who want to run for Congress, and I'm gonna try to get like a good list of people that I would love us to take a look at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I love that this is hopefully the response cycle that we're in is going to have a lot of people entering the game. The Republicans led it, right? With the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Boberts and such.
It's like we got our own Gen Z people now.
Now we got our energy coming behind. It's just that it doesn't look like anyone's really learning the lessons, though. So we're sitting in like our own type of that type. Like, we're still not getting into the we're focused on America. No, we're getting what I foresee coming more likely than not is a left version of a Trump. One who's willing to flout the rules, push the border, push hard to deliver on what the American people need without actually talking to all the American people, because we've already dealt with what happens when you got this guy over here who only serves his crew. So now we want somebody who's going to come in and fight for us with somewhat of the same level of tenacity. And I think that's most likely what's going to bubble out. It can take 6 to 10 years for it to manifest if things continue in a normal, track. And that could be even more devastating because that could just split us. That could finally split us, and maybe it needs to be, because like part of me is like California, Texas, New York, Florida. Yeah, y'all might want to go ahead and look at how you can split yourselves off, because the rest of the country is second hour yet, but
not
the rest
yet.
of the country is crazy. So, but if like California were to say, look, we're no longer going to be a donor state, we're not going to pay taxes, then that is basically claiming secession. And so that will kick off a whole new storm. And then you will find yourselves in whatever version of a civil war is going to be the version of a civil war that we deal with.
All right, everybody. That is our first hour. Appreciate everybody. Good conversation. Appreciate it. We're going to go and take a 3-minute break and get into our second hour with Am I the A-Hole, a Mafia video of the week, and of course, Foxy video of the week. 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all.
Lord. Ooh, hey, everybody.
Hi.
We are back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Tracy Media Fan. Help support Tracy and all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. Please do not forget to support Theus' Complex Mind Simple Man on YouTube. Help support him in all of his endeavors. And if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. And let's go ahead and get into the Mama Heart Hour.
Mama Heart is turning 70 in November. I have no idea what to do.
The woman who has it all. I know it's got a. You know what? My mom's birthday is in November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scorpios are great ladies.
Yeah. Tracy said she's coming back Saturday with my show, Ranking Sesame Street.
And Grover needs to be number one. I've already said this. That's what it is.
Grover
is the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the waiter. He was super Grover. He was great with the kids. Like Grover was the man.
Yeah, but he wasn't the star.
You talking about Big Bird?
Big Bird was the star of the show.
Nah. If anybody was a star, Grouch was. But
Who?
Big Bird, they tried to make Oscar the Grouch. But Big Bird, they tried to make
Grouch was not
Big
the
Bird
star of
the
Sesame Street.
Tracy, you see what you started?
What now?
Oscar the Grouch was not the star of Sesame Street.
He was the most popular character on that show.
He was not popular than Big Bird.
Everybody looked forward to seeing Oscar. No one looked forward to seeing Big Bird.
Everybody looked forward to Big Bird. Nobody was looking forward to Oscar.
The big baby? No, Oscar was the one. He was that G. Everybody loved Oscar. But Grover was still the best.
I love the overall ensemble.
Oh, no, you took a cop out. No.
I will. And
Thank you, Parker. Big Bird.
There was nothing to like about Big Bird.
There was nothing to like about Oscar the Grouch.
What? Oscar the Grouch was great.
Don't you tell me Oscar is just misunderstood. You stop that.
And Snuffleupagus was cool, but he was an imaginary friend.
That was my favorite. Absolute favorite.
The Snuffleupagus?
Snuffy. I had a little stuffed Snuffy and everything. Yeah.
And here's the funny thing about it, because this is when I stopped. This is when I actually stopped watching it. I got old enough to stop watching Sesame Street. He stopped becoming imaginary. The neighborhood discovered that he was real.
And that's made you stop watching the show?
No. That was around the time I stopped watching it.
Oh.
I was getting old.
I remember Oscar the Grouch was real? Or
no, Mr. Snuffleupagus. Everybody thought Big Bird was imagining him, and because every time he says he's here, and the neighborhood would come around, then he would disappear.
Oh,
and right. Oh, dude, you just imagine that's your imaginary friend. Well, by the time I stopped watching it, he was around.
Now I know.
Everybody's like, oh, he's real.
And I like the little bugs that lived in the windowsill for Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
Bert and Ernie.
So Bert and Ernie were never really that great to me, but I like
the work around it. It just wasn't.
Everybody was just, they're both boys.
Ooh.
Oh, Parker, bro. You telling your age, bro. You telling your age, man. Come on.
Elmo was better than Grover. Ooh.
Baby boy.
It's okay.
It's so cute and it's so little young.
Sesame Street. It's all right. It's okay.
Ooh, shots fired. Oh,
just wrong. Wow. Just wrong. That's like when the young cats show up and want to talk to you about what good music sound like. You talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire, You know, you talking about Marvin Gaye, and then somebody else will be like, "What about Usher?"
Jay-Z.
You gotta admit though that for a while though, that Tickle Me Elmo was a big hit.
Yeah, but that was during that era, you know, when toys were doing the thing and all that.
Remember anybody said, "Mama, go get me a Grover doll"?
I have.
Ever.
That's all right. I really can't expect much out of your taste in these characters, man, because I mean, you're a New Edition fan, you know? So
and you eat lint. What's your point?
I
Why would I listen to you? You don't eat real food.
I do eat real food.
You have a definition of I don't eat food that float.
Okay.
Or anything else.
That still leaves chicken nuggets.
Yeah, I'm finna go to Am I the A-hole? Because I'm not finna hold a conversation with somebody call them nuggies. Am I the A-hole? All right. Let me know if what this dude did was at the very end. What he did was the right thing to do.
Recently, whilst I was at work, I got a call from a no-caller ID. Usually I'd leave it, but I picked it up and it happened to be a girl trying to flirt with me, so I hung up. Then I call my girlfriend and ask if it's her, and she swears on everything, and her mother, it's not her. Later, she calls me saying she's getting the calls and being threatened by this girl. At this point, I'm worried. How did they get my girlfriend's number and mine? They even found her Instagram, so I was even more scared. Then they call again, and it was a guy saying he's going to come find me at work, I do security for a store, and fight me because I called his sister something. Nothing happens, but they keep saying they're waiting and constantly calling me and even named where I worked. My coworker then walked with me home because we were waiting to see if something happened. My girlfriend calls me and keeps asking if I'm all right and says she's worried. I tell her it's fine and went home unscathed. I told my mother and she was worried that they would find her info since they found my girlfriend so easy. I then spent 2 days with my girlfriend during my time off work and kept replaying a video I recorded of the call and didn't recognize the voice, nor did my friends, and my girlfriend was worried. I later called the non-emergency police just to have it followed up and tell my girlfriend. She then sent a massive paragraph blaming alcohol and her being with her friend. She used AI voices to mask everything and said she's sorry and thought I would forget it, so she kept quiet. She said she knows that she took it too far and it'll affect my trust, but she's sorry. I truly have never been so disrespected and played with in my life. She has had so many opportunities to say it's her and even sworn on many things she cares about to say that it's not her. My trust for her is completely shattered, and the way she's convincingly lied so much and just let me be worried for days is truly disgusting. My question from here is, would I be taking it too far to leave her, or is this something that is a one-off? She's never done this before, but does play stupid little jokes with me sometimes. Edit! She does not have a drinking problem. She was just drinking at the time with her friend. OP said in the comments they broke up.
I'll go first on this one. I'll break up with you simply because you're too immature to be in a relationship. We could go with the mature answer and with the lies and deceit and all that, and all of that is true. You too damn immature for me. And also you just a flat out liar because you're telling me this multiple day prank was all because you was drunk. And I'm going to say it the way you said it, because this is how I'm taking it, how you, the girlfriend, said it to me, OP. You was drunk several days with your friends several days, pulling the same prank several days.
I didn't hear that.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
It happened over 3 days. So you was drunk with your friends day one to start the prank. Day 2, when you act like you was a guy and you gonna beat up the girl, because day 3, when you did it again,
Oh, okay.
and after he calls the police,
Oh,
it was all a joke and ha 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 and everything else. You too immature to be in a relationship, because none of this is funny. It's just none of this was. If you make a joke is only as funny as when everybody is laughing. Seemed like the only person was laughing was you and your friends. If that was true, because your credibility on telling the truth is like really shot. So we'll go with it. The only people that was laughing was you and your friends. And you have no morals at all. This is something that you can grow as time goes on. But don't sit there and say, I'm not lying, and I'll put that on my mama, my grandmama, and everything else. Like, really? You will put that on your lady, you need to grow up. For real. You need to grow up before you get into another relationship. And honestly, I would have broken up with you probably on the spot. Like, okay, we're done. There's no trust in me to you in any kind of way, shape, or form. We're done.
Me, break up with her.
There are shows, I believe, popular in China and India, where someone will come up with some elaborate ruse to test the
Sunshine. Hey, Cap.
but to test the partner to see how true they are and how committed they are. This is where I'm like, how is this entertainment? This is not. You're messing with someone's life. And here you're messing with their perception. Of course they're not going to he's not going to trust you. You lied to him for days. Oh. Yeah. Breakout. That is just weird. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as you don't have any morals. Probably have quite a few. But the sense to not do this to another human being, you need to work on that. That's all.
All right. Mafia video of the week. Let's keep the crazy girlfriend train going. Crazy ex.
I'm not sure about seeing you again. All right. Good night. Wow, that's it? Seriously? Okay. Now I realize this was a huge mistake. How rude. Huh? Grow up. You just pissed me off and I never get mad. Then sometime later. Sorry for being rude. I wasn't feeling good. Then sometime later. Don't be immature and ignore me. I can get any guy I want to. I don't need you. My uncle is the old governor here and worked for the embassy. My family has power. You are nothing. Goodbye. So don't come back to my place.
Oh, okay.
And all I can say is,
it's not the same without the music.
I can't, I can't play the music though, because they'll copyright that in a heartbeat.
Well, if you play under 4 seconds, I think you would have been just fine for that. But I mean, it was Billie Jean, and that little bird was moonwalking, kind of.
No, I mean he did the right thing. I mean, let her argue with herself.
Yep.
I think Tracy had a comment that said change your number. That's an option, but I'm not changing my number.
I ain't finna change my number.
I'm not
I
changing
would
my
just
number.
block.
I'm not even gonna waste my time. I'm probably not even gonna waste my time blocking you.
Really?
I haven't blocked very many numbers in my life. I think I've blocked spam calls, but
you don't let a lot of crazy people into your life though. So
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So,
but
yeah.
But no, I mean, so maybe blocking is an option as well. But yeah, it's the best thing. Just go dark.
Yeah. Do not engage is the best way.
And the funny thing about it is, why would you try to argue with crazy?
Well, I think we overuse the term crazy.
No.
Yes, we do. We do.
I think we overuse the term crazy. This was a person who wanted to fight. She wanted to have the breakup argument, and he wasn't giving it to her. So then she began to spiral.
It's like, why won't you fight for me?
Yeah, I've been down that because I'm like the person in the text. I'm the kind that's like, this isn't working anymore. We're done. And then that's my whole speech. I don't have a big, long, flowery speech.
There was a Reddit story that I have. I got to see if I can find it to put it on here. Maybe it's the main story, but basically, the girl broke up with OP because he's the one writing the story because he wasn't motivated enough and he wasn't doing stuff with his life and blah 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 and everything else. And the guy was like, okay. He blocked her and everything and moved on with his life. The problem came in with his sister and his friends, and his mama was saying, well, you still need to talk to her. You still need to hear her out. And he was like, why do I need to hear her out? She broke up with me. That's it. She broke up with me. The relationship is over.
I accepted it.
I accepted it. It's over with. But they was adamant. Even the sister was like, did you cry? It was like, no, I went into the
I think you played.
I remember this. Yeah.
I didn't play that? It's like,
yes, you did.
Well, my thing is this right here, and I had to learn this the hard way. If you break up with someone or you feel like you're gonna break up with someone, don't ask your family. Don't seek any counsel from your family. Don't ask for their advice. None of that, because this is what's gonna happen. If you listen to them, even if they're right, if you listen to them, you are going to feel like you could have made the other decision. And you only made this decision because they talked you into it. So it avoids your accountability piece. And so it's best to just keep that counsel to yourself and just defend your position that you took. Right. I chose to stay with her because I broke up with her because, but don't go to the family. I've learned that one the hard way. And that's just my personal counsel. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it.
See, mine was always the friends, not the family. My family always stayed out of relationships anyway, unless it gets real toxic and everything, and then they're going to get involved. But anything else, y'all arguing or fights and everything else, like we don't want to hear it. Figure it out. Literally, my mom on my wedding day. On the day of my wedding, I'm pretty sure I told this story before. On my wedding day, my mom looked at me and said, "I am so proud of you. That you're getting married now and everything else. But you're getting married now. So if you have issues, you better figure it out because you ain't coming back here." I'm like, okay. So but I'm sorry to go back to what I was saying was mine was always don't tell your friends because it's one thing to discuss a situation. You know, that's what your friends are there for. But to don't ever browbeat your significant other with your friends because you gonna forget and forgive and everything else. They're not. And how they take it never works out. It just never worked out for me. I heard it. I'd never done it before anyway, but I heard it and I see the results of, dude, how you get back with this chick? Didn't you say a few minutes ago she was a B and an H and everything? And I'm like, brother, you don't know bro code, do you? You just run it off with your mouth and just okay. No, man, he woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning cussing this girl out. Now he's back with her and loving her. Now. All right, well, now I know why you don't do it. Okay, cool. So that's me, Theo. That's why I learned. Do not tell your friends, or the very
no,
least.
that's different though. That's like when you're having fights and arguments with your significant other. Don't take that to your folks because they only know what you gave them. You know,
Right.
you have all the good stuff. You know, so when
all
you
I
get back
did
together,
all I did was
when you get back together, you remember all the good stuff, and that's why you got back together. But your friends only remember all the bad stuff, and they're like, "That bad math, bro. What you doing?"
Yeah.
Wait a minute, y'all back together? Did she say she chopped your leg off and threw your head down the stairs and everything?
So yeah, I'm with you there, man. You're like careful what you share with your friends.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, everybody. Last segment of the night. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so at this time. Let's go ahead and get into it. Foxy's videos of the week. Again, all of these videos are chosen by Foxy, so
man, that bus ain't around the gas yet, man.
Nope. You'll find a way to put it on me anyway. So nope.
You will run that.
That's my disclaimer on every one of these segments. Great idea.
Rather than deport all of the illegals, what they should do is they should offer them a deal where if they hunt down 5 child predators, then they can get their papers, right? And then we call the program Alien versus Predator. I'm saying, brother, it's a good plan. It's a good.
Entertainment. No, don't leave me with it. No. Boom, 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 boom.
In case y'all are new to this show, number one, welcome. Appreciate you watching tonight. Number two, let me tell you how the dynamics of this show is. And I'm just speaking my truth.
Oh, no.
Because Foxy chose these videos. They was quiet, okay, whatever. This dropped off to get a, breathe in some fresh air before saying anything or to cool herself down. If I was to pick that video, I would have heard everything wrong. everything. You shake your head all you want to. It's the truth. Next video.
It's exactly like you said. It's your truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I apologize. It's the truth.
It's all right, Foxy. We got you.
Ooh, there's a shock. Oh, good Lord. Bring back Wilkins coffee. I honestly don't remember Wilkins coffee.
Wilkins coffee was like Sesame Street with violence.
Yeah.
No, I don't want any coffee. Blam.
Oh yeah. And I'm just gonna pop this up. The Red House has been retired. We're not talking about. They're not doing the Red House ever again.
The Red House.
And then I'll play Tracy. Well, black people and white people get together. Anyway, next video. Mispronunciation.
You pronounced it incorrectly one time and it still haunts you to this day.
Me. Hepatitis.
Man's laughter. Man's laughter. 15 to 20 for laughing.
Chihuahua. Chihuahua.
Paradigm. Paradigm. Why does it have a fucking G?
Fatigu. Fatigu.
Stomach arches.
I don't want any shit take mushrooms on my cheeseburger.
Oh, mine was now here. Third grade popcorn reading. It was now here to be found. It's actually better than high school. He said, World War I.
Yeah, I win this one. The rapey. She was so traumatized she had to go to the rapey.
I couldn't get some of those words wrong if I wanted to.
I just caught the last one. World War I. I'm sorry. What?
Like, how do you take a word that's together and say man's laughter? Like,
It is that. That's the same one that said that mispronounced Chihuahua. Dude, you have a Chihuahua.
No,
what did you call it?
No, he has a Chihuahua. I've heard it said that way so many times.
When you went to get the dog and you asked for that breed, what did they put in that breed?
But when you're looking at the word, it's different.
But when they tell you the word Chihuahua, whatever. I don't care what they put on the paper anymore. You know what that word means. Now, man's laughter. Yeah.
My neurodivergence messes up words regularly.
Yeah, they were aggressively wrong. Like, not just wrong, they were aggressively wrong. But I'm not judging them. It's just they were aggressive with it. Like,
they were.
Chihuahua. Like, once you read the word and you think it says Chihuahua, your natural instinct should be to look at somebody else and be like, is that what this says? You don't take that to the bank. You just don't.
I'll give a pass to the girl that was in the third grade that said, now here.
No, I still won't. Because she made the same mistake as man's laughter. She made the same mistake as man's laughter. That's one word.
Okay. But a grown man saying man's laughter is not the same as a third grade that says now here.
Okay.
Now, World War
I can.
don't
Okay,
know.
so here's how I can see a little kid getting now here. I have to really be creative to get here. So when you first learn how to spell together, they teach you to spell it as to get her. So if that was in the same lesson plan, then she could follow the same logic to figure out how to spell nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would have rather you had taught the child how to spell the various forms of where.
Yeah.
Then nowhere makes a lot more sense. But that's not how it worked out. So give them benefit of the doubt. She was taught together to get her. Nowhere, now here. There you go.
What was the reason? All right, folks. Next video. I've been saying this for years because of the last time I listened to some 80s and 90s music, I started listening to the words that was being said, and it did not age well. Let's just put it to you that way. So this is an example of what I was talking about.
If you cool like a pimp, put your hands up. If you cool like a pimp, put your hands up. Cause you're an actual pimp, put your hands up. If you own a bunch of women, put your hands up. If you're gonna hit it all night, put your hands up. If you're gonna hit it all night, put your hands up. If you maintain an erection for 12 hours, put your hands up. Without the benefit of Viagra, put your hands up. If you a real life player, put your hands up. If you abuse women's trust, put your hands up. If you treat her like objects, put your hands up. If you a real life gangster, put your hands up. If you a real life gangster, put your hands up. If you kill other people, put your hands up. If you the biggest boss here, put your hands up. If you run an actual drug ring, put your hands up. If you just realize that you're full of put your hands up.
Somebody to go up to the DJ booth and get him up out of there.
That was not 80s music.
I'm just like, this is the DJ. Like, bro, what are you doing?
It's showing how many frauds, fakes, and perpetrators were in the audience.
I've heard a DJ play with the fact that an audience can't really hear. Not like that.
Yeah, because this is like the whole audience, the whole club was actually listening to the words. That's
yeah.
That's rare that happens.
Very rare.
I thought I recognized one of the guys.
That's Key and Peele.
It was Key. Okay, thank you. I did recognize then.
Key and Peele. Have some really good stuff.
They do.
Next video, dude, read better.
Come over and let me get you pregnant. I have a IUD. Damn, stop drinking and driving. I'll pick you up. Question marks. What? That's a DUI. Same shit. So why you coming? That's a DUI. Same shit. So why you coming?
First of all, love the beat. Killer beat. Second of all, I bet she still went.
Well, he wants to impregnate her.
Well, her response wasn't, "Man, get off my phone talking crazy." Her response was, "I have an IUD."
I have an IUD. I thought he wouldn't. That was what he was after, and he would.
Yeah, so yeah, Foxy, it wasn't no, get off my phone. You just explained how that's physically impossible for him to do.
Which means the sex is still on the table.
It's still on the table.
The sex is on the table. She did not take the sex off the table. She just said, "You can't get me pregnant." That's all she said.
Oh.
Came back with same shit.
They were still gonna be bumping uglies.
The sex is off the table.
Not my business.
Dude, that's a DUI. Same shit.
You're done.
No, not even in the same category.
Unfortunately, Marlon, from what I've indirectly observed, from what I've indirectly observed, a lot of women have had to learn how to deal with conversations with highly illiterate men. It's sad. Like, I've seen some, like, they'll put them on social media and stuff like that. These guys really cannot spell, and they cannot formulate a complete sentence. They can't do it. And it's like, be alone or be with this guy who's a nice guy. He's just not very bright.
We had one last week. Y'all saw this dude before. We had the guy last week.
You are like not on camera.
Oh, sorry. The funny thing about it is, it's me. I'm the one that's doing this and everything else, trying to be chill.
You need to get one of my cameras.
No.
No.
I mean, I can because I don't talk with my hands, so
it'll chase you around the room. You'll be all right.
But it's the same dude that was like, "How many kids do you have? Do you have any kids?" I have one daughter. How many baby daddies do you have? Like, I have one daughter. Yeah, but how many baby daddies do you have?
Yeah. This is a guy, let's just say he cooks things in confined spaces that he really needed better ventilation.
What, like plastic?
Yeah.
Oh, Marlon.
Yeah.
So innocent, so pure.
Giving him a benefit of the doubt. Last video of the night, if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that like button. I truly appreciate everybody's coming out tonight. Last video of the night. Let's go ahead and stay on that Trump train. If you just feel like saying what you really feel like wanting to say about Trump.
My name's Kelly. I'm in North Carolina. I can't believe the fucking motherfucking stupid fucking idiots voted for this motherfucker and all these fucking oligarchs, and my life fucking is miserable right now, and I fucking hate it all, including every single fucking person that voted for this orange fucking Cheeto motherfucker. Thanks for letting me vent.
Okay.
I'm glad you feel better.
I hope that really helped get a little pressure off her chest, because I actually think it's better without sound.
Really?
It's more realistic.
Let me just exit this space.
Right. I'm just
she was very passionate in getting her point across.
It was like, wait a minute, I don't even think I'm playing this for you. It was sort of like this.
Today we're making fuck off pie. With 1 cup of no one cares, a dash of kiss my ass, add some fuck yous, a pinch of blow me. You're gonna want to stir it all together and shove it up your ass.
I don't want no hate cake. She making hate cake. I'd rather the lady on the bridge. The lady on the bridge was better. I like that lady.
The association over the years between Trump and Cheetos have got to have hurt their sales at least a bit.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I think his target demographic still likes him.
Right.
Yeah.
I think people who eat Cheetos really don't care what anybody else thinks anyway. I'm going to be honest with you. That's not a judgment on the Cheeto people out there. Y'all the Cheeto people, I'm just saying, y'all are above it all. I'm just saying. You've given up on anything remotely healthy. So just enjoy your snack. Send all your angry emails tomorrow.
And I'll tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm not sure I want to now.
I hope so.
Hey,
Because
Foxy. You can find me at borrelia-etc.com.
This.
You can find me on Marlon's show, Radical Truth Power Saturday Night Vibes. Marlon.
Show.
Marlon.
Yes.
Marlon.
He is the executive
the
producer,
the ringleader. Yep.
the leader.
Just on Marlon Show. Only Marlon Show.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay attention to what's going across the screen at the bottom there. Just straight out. That's the only place that you can find this is on my show.
Don't look at that. Don't trust your lying eyes.
Oh. I can't see that anyway. It's all right. Too small.
Oh, you can't see that? It says Diz is Complex Mind Simple Man on YouTube. That's what it says. I was just reading it out to her because she said she couldn't see it.
Oh, I understand.
It literally says Diz is Complex Mind Simple Man on YouTube. That's what it says.
That's propaganda, folks. Fake news.
Wait a minute. Complex Mind Simple Man on YouTube is propaganda?
Fake news.
So this on YouTube on Complex Mind Simple Man is fake news.
Fake news. No apologies. Double down. Fake news.
Ladies.
Vote for me.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're legitimate club.
I appreciate Anna. I appreciate this. We'll see you next Saturday. Until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
For sending thoughts and prayers. So y'all find a relief agency and send money to Texas. They need help.
Amen.
Look into your soup kitchens. Look into your local